here. The meeting's recorded. The meeting will also be posted afterwards on our YouTube channel. And if you're having any technical issues, you can call us at 315-422-5716 or send us an email at contact us at smtcmpo.org. Yeah, just a couple more folks coming in, so just give us just another minute or two. It looks like we have everybody we were expecting to speak today. Get started in just a minute. What do you think, Megan? Should I just go ahead? Yeah, okay. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I am Danielle Kroll with the Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council. I'm a senior transportation planner here. I see a lot of familiar names on our list of folks that are attending. Just a couple reminders, everybody is muted upon entry here, and when our speakers come online, we'll ask you to unmute. We're also recording this meeting, and if you've got any technical issues, you can give us a call at 315-422-5716 or send us an email at contact us at smtcmpo.org. We've also got a couple other SMTC staff members helping run the meeting today, and there's some folks that are from our office that are attending. Helping me run the meeting today is Tom Bardenett. He's one of our, he's our senior transportation planner, and Megan Vitale. She's a principal planner here. And then Andrew Frazier, who you don't see, a senior transportation analyst, is helping run the YouTube part of our meeting today. So thanks to Andrew. And then we've got a handful of other staff on as well in different parts of the office here. Let's see, go to my next slide here. I've got a couple of things going on my screen. Let's see. There we go. Again, so for those that are new to our forum on active transportation and how we run the format here, we like to hold our questions until the end so that we at least give our speakers a chance to get through the material that they wanted to share with us today. While we're going through, you're welcome to type any questions into the chat. We will make sure we get to as many of those as we can. Whatever we don't get to, we will answer in an email, or sorry, answer in a document and post that on our website within the next couple of weeks or so. And those that submitted questions prior to the meeting, we'll try to address those at the end of the meeting as well. A few of the questions that we received for today's meeting will actually probably be answered by some of our member agencies as they give their updates today. So the agenda, so I've got a couple updates to share for SMTC, then we'll have our member agencies share some updates. And we've got basically some presentations or a couple of folks that are going to tell us about some ongoing and upcoming bicycling related programs that are coming online, as well as some walking programs as well. We've also, again, we'll have plenty of time for Q&A today for the presenters, for those telling us about what's going on in the community, and for SMTC staff and our member agency staff. And then at the end, we're not going to do an evaluation form today just because we've been pretty much getting the same type of responses. But if while we're going through this meeting, if you think of another topic that you would like us to cover at our next meeting or some upcoming meetings, we would absolutely love to hear your ideas. Just really briefly, I'm not really going to get into these because we're a couple years into using Zoom now, but for anyone that might be new, we have this information on our website as well as far as how to use the meeting controls for Zoom. And if you're having trouble, you can also find the information on our website. For anyone that might be calling in, there's some specific directions for how to speak during and how to raise your hand kind of during the Q&A period. So again, all of those directions are on our website. And of course, this is a lot of information about just asking folks to be respectful of everyone that's participating today and of one another. So that is appreciated. Thank you. All right, so I just mentioned our staff and did some brief introductions there. And now what I'm going to do is get into some of our updates. We actually have a lot of bike ped projects going on at the moment. So I'm going to do my best to not read the information that's on each of these slides, but just share a couple of bullet points. And after I get through my updates, we'll move on to our member agency updates. And if you have any questions about any specific projects, just throw them into the chat and we will get to those later. So right now we're in the middle of working on our Onondaga Nation / Nedrow Route 11 corridor study. And that's examining exactly what it's talking about, Route 11 through Nedrow and Onondaga Nation. And we're looking at enhancing and adding to our bike ped, and I need to move this so that I can read here. Our bike ped and transit facilities. We finished up the existing conditions, had a really great public meeting in April, and our next study committee meeting is in August, followed by a public meeting that will be held in the fall. Our Coldbrook Creek Trail study was recently completed, and that can be found on the SMTC website. I know the city is going to also mention that this was completed. Some of the final recommendations included formalized stone dust trail, pedestrian lighting, wayfinding. We are also in the middle of the Westfield Plaza area pedestrian and bicycle mobility analysis project. We've got our first public engagement for that project coming up July 12th. And I forgot actually where that is. Tom or Megan, do you want to chime in with where that is if you can?
Yep, it'll be at the Solvay Fire Department on Milton Ave. Okay,
great. All right. That project's going to focus on zoning and land use policies. That session, the public engagement session, we'll focus on zoning and land use priorities. The town of Geddes actually completed a RAISE grant application that'll be talked about, and as well as what would encourage folks to walk, bike, or take transit in this particular area. We also talked with town officials about zoning and concepts with plaza management there. So you can learn more about that on July 12th. We are also in the middle of our West Side Trail project for the city. We had a second SAC meeting in the spring, and we shared a little presentation about what the project's all about with the West Side TNT in May. We've also met with the Syracuse Neighborhood and Business Development Department to talk about some different properties that we might be able to potentially work with for some off-road connections. And then we're also currently looking at on-road connections, and we'll be beginning to develop some draft recommendations in the coming month. The Brewerton Trail Feasibility Assessment, this is a brand new one. We're just about done writing the scope of work for this, and then it has to go through our SMTC Planning Committee for approval. That is looking to support the town's ongoing planning efforts, such as their comp plan and their LWRP, looking at trail routes with that project, assess planning level feasibility of that, coordinating with utility companies and with other trail routes. So again, that we're in the middle of scoping. That scope actually should be ready fairly soon. Another one that the scope of work is in progress and will be sent to our planning committee for a vote soon is the Plan and Finance Local Mobility Project. This one will be working with some communities to work on how to have some better planned mobility networks that include bike and ped and that sort of thing. Another new one that the scope of work has been approved is the Greater Fayetteville Area Bicycle and Pedestrian Connection Study. That is looking to evaluate and improve the bike ped network and connections and access through Greater Fayetteville area. So the plan is to look at linking the three villages, linked to neighborhood parks and trails such as the Empire State Trail, for example. Looking at also identifying some safe on-road bike routes. And that's a consultant-based study. So we're actually expecting some proposals for that project to come in the door by this Friday. For our Syracuse Community Streets project, SMTC staff, the city of Syracuse, and ADAPT CNY met to discuss formalizing a process to hopefully have some demonstration projects on local streets. And those types of things that we're thinking about are painted bump outs. You can see an example on the screen, potentially some street murals, temporary bike lanes, and wayfinding. And so, yeah, we have a lot kind of going on. So that just gives you a brief overview of some of the things that are currently going on and are upcoming in the very near future. And with that, let's see, we're going to move to our member agency updates. So unfortunately, we don't have an update today from County DOT. It's summertime. It's hard to get everybody on the same dates. We've got some vacations going on, but we're going to start with Julie Baldwin. She's a senior transportation analyst with New York State DOT. And Julie, I'm going to, I think Megan can unmute you. So you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, you should be able to hear me now.
Yep.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay. So Megan had a little visual thing that I was going to have her pull up.
Yep.
But
we'll
we'll
stop my share.
Or maybe it'll be really quick. So we received funding from Federal Railroad to do crossing improvements at the state fairgrounds. So this is kind of nice. We had renderings. We don't always get these, but we had to apply for the funding. So there's a bunch of improvements that are planned that'll be in design next year and in construction in 2026 to be done before the fair in 2026. But you know, they're looking at adding sidewalk along the roadway frontage on State Fair Boulevard between some of the gates. I think it's between gates 3 and 4 where these crosswalks are, so that you'll be able to get from the parking areas that are across the street, get into the fairgrounds. They're also going to be adding permanent signals. I don't think they'll be on all the time, but right now, if you're out at the fair or a big event, they'll have temporary signals set there that are controlled by state troopers during the big events. So they'll turn on the light, all the traffic stops, people can cross. So I think these will be push button activated, so you won't need to have a trooper there. There you can see in this visual that they're doing like fencing between the railroad and the fairgrounds. Right now it's kind of open, it's willy-nilly, everybody kind of parks and walks through there wherever they want. So this should be a lot safer. And as part of this too, I don't think there's really a visual for it, but we're going to be changing the route for the Empire State Trail just a little bit. So right now it comes across from the orange lot, across the bridge over 690 and over State Fair Boulevard and comes down into the main gate at the fair. And then it goes into the fair and back out where the Bridge Street has the 10-foot wide sidewalks. This was when it was originally designed, it was because the sidewalk is 4 feet wide. Once you get past a certain point, I think it's like gate 12 area of the fair. And they're actually going to build out that sidewalk around the corner. So it's all 10 feet wide, trail compliant. So you won't have to enter the fair. This is going to be good because sometimes the fair is closed and this will be more accessible. So Megan, can you scroll down maybe? I don't know if there's, yeah, so this is not so much for pedestrians, but they're adding a signal at gate 6 and, great actual crosswalks. So you won't be driving through there if there's a train. And see John Sexton's question. Will it be changed to go outside the fair rather than through? Yes, that's what I'm trying to describe. I don't have a map for it. But it's going to go around the corner on Bridge Street and around to State Fair Boulevard without going through the fairgrounds. So that's our big news. Other than that, we have a project right now in construction where we're doing work in downtown Village of Manlius. We're putting in new sidewalks and curb ramps, so it's kind of torn up right now. But that's proceeding kind of as expected. And as far as the Empire State Trail, there was one other small change to the route that we're looking at right now with the city. Right now, if you're walking in the Inner Harbor area, it goes right through the amphitheater. And it's not the St. Joe's Amphitheater, but the one down in the Inner Harbor. And it's going to go around and follow the Creek Walk path instead after we've re-signed it. So that's it.
I have to remember to unmute myself here. Okay, great. Thank you, Julie.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I did see Bren, right? Yep, there you are. So, Bren Dice, she is the director of Special Transportation Projects and Planning with Centro. So, we'd love to hear an update from you guys and what you have going on. Thanks,
Danielle. Hi, everyone. Just a couple of quick bike ped highlights that are happening here at Centro. You may have seen that we are working on an expansion of the VO bike share program. We know that when you're on one of those shared vehicles, the bikes or the scooters, and you get to the edge of the city line, those vehicles shut off. And that's why we see them along Thompson Road and along a couple other locations that are key that we see a lot of those vehicles. So we really just wanted to give our customers and folks who are already riding in the city the option to finish their ride outside of the city limits. So we started our expansion. We've been working with VO this year, and we partnered with them. So far, we are on OCC's campus. So we did get on their campus before classes ended for the spring semester, and we expect a bigger hoopla to help train or give their students a little bit of a tutorial in the fall when their classes start back up again. But I'm super excited to be expanding that service, giving options, and will be, I'll say, more to come. So we're still working on several other expansion spots. So the idea again, this year in 2023 is to think about the, some of us, especially in this meeting, they know where the lines are and what the map looks like, but most people don't think about municipal boundaries. And so we kind of just want to build an amoeba around the city of Syracuse to say, where is everybody going and how can we help them get there? So that's what we're working on. That's our bike ped stuff. And we've got other cool stuff going on as well. So check us out, but awesome. Not related to bike ped.
Thank you. Thanks, Bren. That's really exciting. Happy to hear that. That's moving forward. Awesome. Let's see. Okay. The city of Syracuse, we've got Greg Lowe, Chief Policy Officer with the city. Greg, thanks for joining us today so you can share some city updates. We appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. I'm standing in for Neil Burke today, who couldn't make the call, but I'm happy to be here. It's great to see so many friends and acquaintances that are on, people we were working with a lot on some of the things we have going on here. So I'll just highlight some maybe 4 or 5 things that are already well underway, and then hit a couple that are in the pipeline to come. So speed humps are making progress. I think we're going to be in our 3rd season of speed hump installations in the city this year. And we're in the middle of still gathering data on the prior 2 seasons worth of work, and planning for installations that will come again this year. But we do anticipate more installations, and we are now trying to tweak and perfect exactly the right designs that work best for public safety, for traffic calming, and we'll have more to come on that. Lots of great work in bike infrastructure happening in the season. More than 50 blocks of bike infrastructure and traffic calming measures will be happening this construction season in the city. So we're really pleased with the progress happening there. Building on Bren, our VO expansion has continued. We went from something like 500 vehicles last year to 750 this year. We had a peak day, and Neil didn't give me the date, but our peak day was 3,600 rides. So, you know, a little more than 2 rides a minute if you were up all night, and a whole lot more rides per minute if you were going on daylight hours there, which is really exciting. And, you know, Syracuse continues to be a really strong VO market. Municipal sidewalk program is in year 2. And, you know, there's not much that I need to give you for data. If you spend any time in the city, you see large sections of sidewalks that are being replaced, repaired, and it never would have happened without switching to a municipal sidewalk program. Things that are coming in the pipeline. You are probably aware of the mayor's commitment for Syracuse to work toward being a Vision Zero city. Before this year is out, we will issue an RFP for a Vision Zero planning consultant to help us develop our roadmap. And then, or roadmap might be a bad term. Well, roadmap's an okay term. Our map for Vision Zero, so that we can get it formally adopted and underway. We have significant expansions in automated enforcement that are coming in the city, starting in school zones. We successfully achieved New York State legislation this past session with the help of Assemblymember Magnarelli and Senator May for school zone speed and red light cameras in the city. Roughly 3 dozen installations of each type in school zones. We now just need to get to the implementation of that. And so we're going to be proceeding with an RFQ process, which will also include, at long last, bus stop arm cameras in the city as well. A lot of work to get there yet, but we're working on it. And then, you know, the last one I just mentioned is just to add some excitement on to Danielle's reference to the Cold Brook Creek Trail study. And I think Megan put a link in there. You should go look at it, because I think it's really exciting in a section of the city that should have an easily accessible neighborhood trail. And I just think it's the epitome of the kind of improvements you can make in the middle of a neighborhood that can be really improve quality of life. That's me, Danielle.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Greg. Really appreciate it. There are definitely more than some. There's quite a few exciting things happening in the city. So that's really great. So thank you. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. So what we wanted to do for this meeting, we're just starting summer here, is we've had a few folks ask us, can you tell us what's going on in the city and nearby the city as far as upcoming ride opportunities or walk opportunities? So we've got two folks specifically today joining us to help share their cycling programs. And then I think there's some other people online that have that might have some more information on some other upcoming bike or pedestrian walking related activities. So Derek, we're going to start with you. So we've got Derek Pratt. He's the Director of Education and Public Programs with the Erie Canal Museum, and he is going to talk about your cycling programs. I think you also mentioned you've got some walking programs coming up. So Derek, thanks for joining us, and take it away.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen here real quick.
Yeah, Derek, we're having
Okay.
a little
Yep.
trouble hearing you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Any better?
That is better.
Okay, I'll just talk
Yeah.
louder or something.
Okay.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for having me. So yeah, like I said, I work here at the Erie Canal Museum, downtown Syracuse, right across the street from City Hall, and right next to the newly completed Empire State Trail. Hopefully, folks have been able to see Parks and Trails New York's recent report on who's on the Empire State Trail. We did a manual trail count here at the museum that showed 165,000 people use the trail past our museum annually, which has been great to know. Yeah, that helped us. Like we did a Bike to Work Day event earlier this year on National Bike to Work Day, May 19th, I want to say that was. It was in that range. Anyway, we've also been trying to use the trails as an educational tool and kind of combine recreational trail use with learning more about the history of upstate New York and the Erie Canal. So let's look at a few of those offerings. As has been implied, we have several walking tours at the museum utilizing the trail. There's our kind of classic one, our downtown canal architecture tour. It takes you from the Erie Canal Museum to Clinton Square, and those run every Thursday and Saturday all summer. They're free with a recommended $10 donation, and they alternate between 10:30 and 1 p.m. So if it's at 10:30 on Thursday, it'll be at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and vice versa the next week. It switches around, and you look at all the historic canal infrastructure along the trail. Then we also have another tour. Also, those tours can half a mile. They're fully accessible and last 45 minutes to an hour. Then we have a slightly longer tour that runs a bit less frequently, and that is Pathways of Resistance. This is a tour that specifically looks at the history of the abolition and Underground Railroad movement along the canal, looking at the built environment here in Syracuse. And there's really a lot to see there. This lasts about an hour and a half, but it also covers about half a mile of downtown Syracuse. We added in a couple extra streets, but not much difference. And these run every other Friday at 1 p.m. And hopefully, once we get a few more tour guides trained on how to lead them properly, we might be able to offer it a bit more frequently. Then there's our big kind of big cycling series of the summer. There's a lot of S's. Beers, Bikes, and Barges. These are cycling tours throughout New York State, different regions. So some go right through downtown Syracuse. These are about hour to hour and a half long bike rides where you are led around whichever town is being highlighted, told the history of that area. It's generally focused on canal history, and we try to get the groups we partner with to also talk about the food and alcohol history of those areas. And then you end at a local brewery where part of your ticket fee pays for your first drink at the brewery. And you get to hang out with all your fellow cyclists. And here is the schedule for those rides. You can see we've already done 3, but Syracuse is coming up in on the 13th. Then we've got Canastota and Port Byron for more local ones. We also plan on doing another section in September, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Doing the east side of Syracuse using the new section of trail that goes down the middle of Erie Boulevard. And I'm going to give you information on where to sign up for all of these in a little bit. If you aren't interested in drinking beer, fear not, you can get most of that Syracuse tour. There's the Tuesdays on the towpath. This is usually a central New York wide series. I believe it's taking a year off at the moment, but this is a free ride that we do through the city August 15th at 6 p.m. We might add another one in as well later this year, but you can get updates on that, and I'll show you where you can find that out later. Going from the Erie Canal Museum, the historic route of the canal, you follow it all the way to Syracuse's modern connection to the canal, which is the Inner Harbor. And then you loop back to the museum. Anyway, then we also have walking tours of Baldwinsville. We have our Baldwinsville infrastructure tours. Again, these are free, provided for by New York State Canal Corporation, and they're on the canals program. There are the dates for that. We also will hopefully in September be rolling out the Beers, Boots, and Barges. So that's going to be a walking tour, similar theme as Beers, Bikes, and Barges. So those are kind of our events. Also, I want to just point out a couple of volunteer opportunities at the museum that might be of interest. There's our Trail Ambassador program. So this is a statewide program. The Erie Canal Museum is kind of the Central New York coordinators. You kind of just ride on the trail, keep an eye on it, get to know people, help people on the trail, direct them to, like, you know, where's a good place to eat, where can you sleep for the night, and also if like a tree has fallen down in the middle of a canal path, you can email me. I generally know who to talk to, and we get those trees removed quickly. So it's a useful way to both maintain the trails and make them an enjoyable place to hang out. You can get a free t-shirt as well, so another reason to sign up to be a trail ambassador. Then also, we try to beautify our specific section of the trail with our Erie Grows program. We have a number of extensive gardens next to the trail, which we're always looking for help in maintaining. So all that said, here's how you can get more information on a lot of this stuff. This link here, eriecanalmuseum.org/cycling is where you can find out about all those different cycling events. I believe there's some info on trail ambassadorship on there. If you go on our website, eriecanalmuseum.org, you'll see at the bottom, there's a great way to sign up for our e-newsletter that is sent out usually twice a month, and it gives you tons of updates on what's going on. If you have any more direct questions, you can email me at Educator, and we are always posting about this stuff on our social media, Facebook and Instagram. Our handles are right there. So hopefully I didn't talk too long.
No, that's great. Derek, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing all of that. I knew about a couple of those programs, but I didn't know about all of those. So I'm excited to hear about that. That's great. Thank you. Wonderful. Again, we'll have time for questions in just a few minutes. I see we've got some going on already. But let's see, let's get to Bob. So Bob Doherty was going to share with us a little bit about Cycle in the City and about Brady Faith Center's Pedal to Possibilities. So we'll get Bob unmuted and go for it, Bob.
Bob, did you have anything you needed to screen share?
Yeah, I've got a pretty high-tech presentation. Here is my
Okay.
Okay.
I can't seem to get that into the computer, but
No, sir.
Okay.
That's fine.
gee, thanks. All right, well, I mean, I'll just give you a quick run up about those programs and maybe something else. But starting off with Cycle in the City, Started in 2009. It was just a one-time event that we had for a couple of years, with mainly instigated by the county health department, along with SMTC, the city of Syracuse. When we decided after a period of time that just doing a one-shot deal didn't really make much of an impact. And so after a couple of years, we all decided, let's do it once a month. And so now we do it once a month on Sundays, 9 a.m. in the morning, from the months of May through October officially. We do sometimes do an unofficial ride to begin the season in April, and we keep going. You know, the last couple of years we've gone into December. Actually, you know, we ended October. We'll do an unofficial ride in November and December. You know, like a lot of things, COVID threw us for a loop. We sort of stopped going for a while, and then we picked it up informally. But we continue to ride. And we've done a lot of different type rides. Right now, we're pretty much doing a 10-mile or so ride somewhere around the city. We've really been using both the Creek Walk and the Empire State Trail have been great for us. Just, you know, for safety reasons, but also to get people to use those whatever the word routes. So this we really kind of lost our contact more or less with the county health department through turnover and whatever else. But the city has now adopted it as a program, and so it's run out of the Parks Department. And for the last couple of years, they've had staff, besides Chris Abbott, who's been doing it right along. They'll have somebody else that'll come and drive a van or some kind of support vehicle. Last year, we started getting people from AMR ambulance service to actually ride bikes with us, which has really helped us out a couple of times when we've had some minor incidents on the ride. And then really great this year, we've been trying for several years to get the Syracuse police to get involved, you know, just to help us out. Sunday mornings are great as far as riding a bike, but we, especially with the Empire State Trail going east, we cross a whole lot of intersections. But this year, you know, they've reinstituted the bike patrol. I just ran into somebody taking a picture of those guys and women up in Strathmore today. But they've instituted the bike patrol. We had 2 of them ride with us the first week. We had 4 of them last week when we had 40 people on the Empire State Trail, and it was fantastic. You know, they enjoyed it. They are getting paid, but you know, to ride a bike. You know, I think they were very responsible. They did a great job. It really increases both the safety factor, but also the visibility of the Syracuse Police Department and of the city. So it's been just a wonderful development. So we are, like I said, we'll be going. You know, I think our next ride is July 16th. And you know, normally we always start at the most, the Creek Walk Trailhead downtown, and go for about 10 miles. Also, you asked me to mention Pedals to Possibility, which is a program at the Brady Faith Center down on South Ave. This has been going since 2011. It's basically a program where anyone, you know, can ride 10 rides and they earn a bike. Mainly aimed at those facing homelessness. Most of our clients, participants, whatever word you want to use, have come from the old Oxford Inn, the Catholic Charity Shelter, or the Rescue Mission, or just people off the street. We've got a pretty good reputation now than that people that need a bike give us a call. And we will arrange for somebody if they need transportation. I think a lot of people don't, you know, for an awful lot of people, a bike is a toy. You know, it's a way to get exercise, something to have fun with. For the people that we're dealing with, it is a way to get to work, you know, a way to get around the city. And so it's something they really need. We try to make sure that they have a decent bike. People will come back and trade their busted bike for a sort of newer bike. So we've been doing this for a while. It works out pretty well. Again, we were really thrown for a loop by the pandemic. You know, we couldn't meet inside Brady Faith Center. We were on, we were off. People were getting, it's just tough. We've been trying to come back. We've had a couple setbacks. You know, now I think people probably are aware that the Catholic Charity Shelter is now over on Erie Boulevard East, instead of being walking distance to Brady. And so that's it. We're really trying to reach out more to people in the community. Also, just in general, the fentanyl problem has really affected some of the folks, I think, that would like to participate with us. And, this is what we understand, is that just it's such a pervasive problem. People are a lot more, motivated towards that than they might be to, ride 10 bikes and ride 10 rides and get a bike. But that's that. We can change. We hope to keep going. We were supposed to have our Brady bike ride, which is a fundraiser, a couple weeks ago, but the smoke alert didn't allow us to do it. That's now scheduled for September 16th. The next time we ride, I said, is July 16th. There are a few other programs out there. I don't know if you want John Sexton, who I know is in the audience, to say something about the Syracuse. It took the place of the slow roll in Syracuse, which kind of fell apart, unfortunately. And now we have a Syracuse, which is once a week ride on Tuesday nights normally. There's also a thing called the Syracuse Bike Party, which is once a month, last Saturday of the month from Clinton Square. Attracts about 150 people each ride, with the bikes all lit up and sound up, and it's quite an event. So there's an awful lot of bike riders out there, as people know, and I think this gives them some visibility. So other than that, I think John's giving me some cues over here, or maybe that's Glenn. But I think a lot of people do know that when we ride through the neighborhoods with the Brady Bike Group, we try to be as friendly as possible. We haven't had any accidents, and we're just hoping to keep that going.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you want anything else. Sure.
No, that's great. You know what? Do you happen to have, because I don't have it in front of me, I know I have it somewhere, Bob, but do you happen to have the dates of the cycle in the city in front of you? If not, that's something I can put on our put in our website, but I know I've got it here somewhere. I just don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I will get that, and I will make sure, usually after these meetings, we'll have a little something posted in the active transportation forum section of our website. So we will I'll put something on the website. And actually, while we're right here, I just saw Derek had a question. How do you find out about the Syracuse cruise dates and locations? I don't know if John, you want to speak to that, or Bob, if you know, go right ahead.
Yeah, I meant to mention that we have an extensive email list for the cycle in the city.
That's right.
But it is through Parks and Rec, and you can register at Parks and Rec for that. You pre-register one time and you're covered for the year. I was looking at the city website. I can't figure out where their calendar is, to tell you the truth. So it used to be on the calendar, well, when they would put it on. But I am not real good with the city website these days. The Syracuse is, there is a bike party Facebook page, and there's a lot of information on the bike party Facebook page about any rides in the city of Syracuse.
Okay, great.
Also is a Twitter, at Syr Bike, or right, John? At SYRBIKE, I believe it is.
Yeah, and John, I sent you a request to unmute. If you want to speak to any of those programs, or Glenn, I'll send you a request as well. Oops, sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong person. But so John or Glenn, you should be able to unmute if you want to talk about any of those other organized rides.
Anyone? I did see, Glenn, you mentioned this in the chat, and I also we did receive a note about the Meals on Wheels Alley Cat ride is July 15th. It promotes the use of bicycles to visit local businesses, but I don't have information on where that starts or any of that. So I don't know if someone else has the details on the Alley Cat ride.
I think John probably knows. I'm going to do it this year. It'll be my first time. John Sexton probably has that info.
Okay. John, do you have anything you want to share? maybe he stepped away for a minute. We can check in. If we get any, again, if we get any information after the meeting today, we'll make sure that we post this somewhere. We'll post some of these links that people are sharing somewhere on our active transportation page for our website, and or probably also our Facebook page, just so folks can hear
Okay,
more
John
about that.
messaged me and said, I'm trying, but
Oh.
John, you are unmuted. So at least you are on my end. So we're
Having some technical difficulties. Let's see.
but we'll compile all of these links,
Yeah.
like Danielle said, and we'll make sure to post them.
Yeah. For sure. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to. Oh, one of the other things I wanted to mention, just while we're seeing if we can get John online here. We just got our new shipment of let's call it kind of revised / updated bike maps into our office on yesterday they arrived. We got 7,500 maps, and we are in the process of figuring out our distribution soon here. So I would say within the next month, the new updated revised maps will be available at the bike shops and at the libraries in the county. You can also stop by here at SMTC to grab a map or two. And if you have any suggestions as to where else we can drop them off, of course, we hit all the museums usually and all of that. So if anyone's got anything.
Now.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, John. Great.
This is my first time with this laptop. I didn't have my microphone set up.
That's okay. That's okay. Great.
So yes, the information about Syracuse and a lot of bike rides, like Bob said, it was on the Syracuse Bike Party Facebook page. But also, if you go to Twitter and you search on hashtag BIKESYR, a lot of bike ride information is on that. And the Meals on Wheels Alley Cat Ride is Saturday, July 15th. That is a fundraiser. And I'm not sure where they start yet either, but last year they started at the Center for Excellence on the corner of Almond and Water Street, if I remember correctly. Well, I think
All right.
that's all I was asked to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone else has any rides or anything, anything that they can think of that's coming up, and you remember after today, just send one of us an email. You can even send it to contact us at smtcmpo.org, and we can kind of compile a list and we'll figure out somewhere to post that. And then what we'll do is send that information also to all of you that have registered for today's meeting through an email. We'll let you know where it's at. So let me see, Megan, have I forgotten anything as far as updates go or presentations?
I don't think so. Yeah, I put a lot of stuff in the chat. I know some other people contributed things as well. Oh, Bob, yeah, you added something about looking for donations for bikes. Okay. Actually, I was wondering, are you looking for only donations of adult bikes or kid-sized bikes as well?
Normally, I would say that we're only looking for adult bikes, but actually, we're going to do a little bit of a bike giveaway at our ride for Brady in September. And so we're going to be collecting kids' bikes too. So anything, pretty much, anything goes that actually rolls.
Okay. That's great. All right. Thank you.
I'm getting a bigger garage.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like
Don't
it.
tell my wife.
Oh, we did get, Megan, we did have the one question I actually forgot about. A question came in as to, are there any conversations happening with Micron letting them know of our cycling infrastructure?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I should have mentioned this with the Brewerton study mentioned earlier.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We SMTC do have a few studies on our program for this year, having to do with Micron, a few different assessments that we're doing for our member agencies related to the development at Micron. And so just I just wanted to note that that study that's going on for the Brewerton area, looking at some trails there. You know, we do know that that's just north of the Micron site, and we're aware and kind of have pointed out to the town that that may be an opportunity to pursue in the future, that connection there. So other than that, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to be looking at, the details of what we're going to be looking at for the various Micron related items on our work program.
Thank you. I see the note I put here that I neglected to share about that. So thank you.
Yep.
Trying to think, does anyone else have any questions or anything that we may have missed? You can feel free to raise your hand, like actually raise your hand. Oh, John's got something here.
Yep, John, I sent you a request on mute.
A couple things. The Empire State Trail that goes through Clinton Square, is there any plans on rerouting that? It's so frequently blocked with a gate, or yesterday I had a hard time getting through because there was a bicycle parked right at the bottom of the sidewalk ramp that you need to get around the gate. And then the other thing, they took the beg buttons off the crosswalk across Salina Street to Clinton Square. So you got to wait for the light to cycle to change before you can go across. If there's no traffic, I guess you can cross, but you can't get the cycle turn to get to cross. And I'm not sure why they did that last year. And then the other thing is the West Shore Trail going through the amphitheater. Is there any talk about being able to go around the amphitheater there?
I do not have answers, honestly, to any of those questions. I don't know if we have anyone here that might at the moment. Julie, I don't know if
it's
you
not going to
do.
be a very definitive answer, but from my experience now with working with the other change to the Empire State Trail that we're working on, the route is being managed by New York State Parks. So we're kind of an intermediary. If the city wanted to change the route in Clinton Square, they could come up with a plan and Parks would review it, and it would be probably approved. Do you have other routes that you're thinking of, John? Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I was thinking get rid of the gates. That's
just
what I was
remove the
thinking.
gates. Okay.
But otherwise, go down Clinton to Washington Street, but then you'd have to have a bike lane for people heading north on Clinton, because Clinton's one way to the south on that part. But I guess you could do it on Franklin Street, take Franklin to Washington. Closed, for several months for the ice rink, every Tuesday for the farmers market, very frequently for different festivals and in Clinton Square.
Okay.
There's a sign that says dismount there, but that's kind of ridiculous.
I can bring it up when we talk with the city about the other changes we're making.
Oh, thank you.
And as for the other part going through the St. Joe's Amphitheater, I haven't heard any discussion of an alternative route.
I can pose that question to County DOT again. The answer every time I've asked so far, they've said no, but I am happy to ask again. Maybe the more times they hear it being asked, they will consider it. So we'll try that. Has anyone got any questions? You can like physically raise your hand, or there's the raise hand function on in Zoom here. I'm not seeing anything at the moment, which I think means we're going to probably end early today, if that's okay with everyone. Really appreciate everyone sharing some of the things that are going on and coming up in the city and surrounding area. It's really exciting. And we will come up with a listing somehow, some way, and get it to everyone and either post it on our website and or our Facebook page, but we'll make sure that this group kind of gets the information, and we'll work on a way to share that with everyone. I am too, Greg. I think it's awesome. Greg said that he's amazed at how much is happening. So this is great. Oh, the bike depot. Okay, what is that, Glenn? Just before we break here. Does anyone
Yeah,
know?
it's like a bike kitchen that was
Oh.
opened recently on Marcellus Street. It's put on by I think it's being run by Ursula and Frank. Basically like a community bike shop. Where
Okay.
I think you can, you could donate parts, you can use parts. I think they've got a couple of stands over there. And they're always looking for volunteers
Okay.
to man the place. Hold on, let me try to find an email with a link.
Okay, great. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we did hear rumors about this not too long ago. So this, if you're able to find something, great. Or if you don't find it until after the fact, feel free to message us or give us a call at the office. That's never a problem either. I will put, I'll put our email here. Any other goings on? Let's see.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't see any other hands up.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks everybody for your time this afternoon and for some great information. And thank you to Derek and Bob for sharing that information, and to Glenn and oh, I just lost my train of thought now. Thanks for sharing the information, and thank you to our member agencies too for the great updates. So it's really exciting stuff going on. So thanks. Our next two other things. Our next meeting, I believe, will be September-ish. So you'll get an email for our next vote. And if you have any suggestions for upcoming meetings, some topics that you might want to hear about or talk about, please, by all means, let us know. We're happy to. Oh, great. Thank you for the info on the bike depot. We're happy to have some other topics of discussion. So that would be great. So hope everyone has a great afternoon, and thank you again for your time. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.